So you're wondering how to change this side marker light on the front. I'm going to show you that on both sides of the van. They are a little bit different to get out. So let's start with the hard side first, the passenger side. I'm going to include skippable title chapters, just so that you can skip ahead if you've gotten to a certain point already. So there it is right there. And as I mentioned, we'll have the driver's side included in this video as well. The passenger side, we're going to have to take a couple things apart. Nothing really too tough to do. If you have a flat screwdriver, that's probably all you're going to need. Of course, it can jump around in there, so I'm going to use a socket. 8mm or 5/16 socket should work. I'm just using a little 1/4 inch with a little handle on it. It's not super tight. This will make it a little easier to get out, and of course the socket will stay on the bolt. Just got to loosen it, doesn't have to come all the way apart. Then these little catches here, they unhook from the bottom. They just kind of spring up. Try and show you a little more how they work. So we see that bottom piece there. Yeah. There's one on this side as well. If you can get under there, or just use a screwdriver. It's kind of hard to get your hand in there. You can just kind of clip it up. There we go. Easier to lock it back down. So those two are done, and then there's another one on the other side here, just on the other side of your power steering reservoir. This is going to have to come off, but you want that clip off first, so here it is. Again, unclips from the bottom. Should be able to just lift this up. We're going to take that filter out, just so we don't damage it. You see these 3 holes on the bottom here at the back. They go onto the top housing there. Take your filter out. Good idea to maybe check it while you've got it apart. And this is in the way. It's like it should just take it off already because we've already loosened it, right? It's a bolt here holding your power steering reservoir, 13mm bolt. That way we can get the bottom of this filter housing out, because it'll be a lot easier to get our hands back in there with that out. It's really easy to do, so don't panic. Take your bolt out, don't lose it. And we'll set that aside. Move that to, what's the size of that in case you lose that nut? It looks like it's an M8 by 1.25. I'll put a link in the description for the little necklace that has all those different standard and metric threads. Move this out of the way. Need that. Now, this part here, now that it's unhooked from everything, it just pulls up. Give it a little bit of a jolt. Just watch this air inlet here, though. That piece is going to be stationary, so you just have to move the box around it and get it out. And good. We're on to the next step now. Now we should be able to get our hands around here and be able to grab the light socket for this side marker light. You'll see it right up there, this just above one of the headlights. It is on an angle, that's it right there. And it's got a goofy way, you turn it clockwise, I believe, to get it out, which is the opposite of the normal way. So I'm just going to show you from the top here with some light. You should be able to see what you're doing. You might have to twist it this way, twist it that way. But at least you can get your hand in here now with that box out of the way. And that's what it looks like. It only goes in one way. We'll take this bulb out. And I'm sure this is supposed to be, this was a W5W, but somebody's replaced it. I am sure this is an amber light from factory, like the kind of a yellow color. It should be 2827 in amber. So that's what the socket looks like. It just pops in. It's hard to tell, but if you look, one of these openings is wider than the other. The one's at the top versus the one kind of on the bottom. So this piece will only go in one way. You might have to spin it around. I'm going to leave the lights on because that'll give you kind of a I'll be able to put the socket in the hole a lot easier by having a little bit of light. You'll see it actually does work not bad having the light on. So have to be careful though, it's going to get hot the longer it stays on. And as I mentioned too, it only goes in one way, so you might have to spin it around and push don't have to push very hard, but just keep spinning around till it pops in there. Don't want to spin it too much. And there we go. We've got a working marker light. I'll put some links in the description of some bulbs you can get if you want to try that way. Now we just have to put this all back. You'll see there's a hole there that one of these little fingers sits in. It's not bolted down, it just pops in there. These different fingers, and we'll just get our bottom piece. See, it's got little rubber grommets that those pieces will either go in, or this finger will go into that grommet on the body. Fairly simple. Just have to line it up, put her back. Only goes in one way. So let's flip her around and put it in. So we mentioned these holes go towards the back. You're gonna have to get this hole around this inlet where the air comes in. Just have to rock it back and forth gently a little bit, and then move this power steering reservoir out of the way. You'll want to click this down into place. If you just gently move it, left and right a little bit, front and back, you'll see that some of these marks will finally pop in once you get it aligned. Again, you just have to kind of gently wiggle it around till it kind of lines up, and then give it a little push down. You'll feel that it'll be locked into place. Then we can put some of these things back on. So your windshield washer has a little finger there that goes into that hole, locks into place, and then this power steering reservoir, you just have to kind of stretch it up over this bolt, again gently, and then get our nut. Hopefully I haven't lost that. And snug her down. Then we'll get our ratchet and socket and we'll snug that up. It's just into plastic, so it doesn't have to be, it's not going anywhere. Just snug it up. And now all we have to do is put our filter back in. Move this out of the way, grab our filter. It looks still pretty good. Goes only in one way. Make sure it's sitting in there properly. Then we've got those holes in the back. There'll be some fingers on the back of the top of the housing that'll go in there. This can be sometimes a little bit finicky to get in there. You may have to try and line the fingers up. And at the same time, while you're trying to push them into the holes, you want to maybe push this housing at the back down a little bit. Again, just you don't have to use super pressure. You might have to jiggle it around a little bit. And of course that hose might be in the way as well. That big hose that I've got in my right hand there. So with some working at it, you can get it in there. It'll go back in. If not, maybe your filter's not in the proper spot. Then we can click these guys back down. They take a little bit of force. You have to over center them and they'll click down. There, it's locked into place. Got this one on the passenger fender there. This might be a good time to give me the thumbs up if you don't mind. That way YouTube will know that I'm doing a good job and you're happy with it. And that maybe you've learned something. Same with this one. This one's a little tougher to do. Line up the top and then just give her a push down there. It'll lock. Of course, we don't want to forget the one on this side as well. Put the top part up and over the little latch and then just tuck that bottom piece down and there we're done. And we've got this hose to push back on here as well. Just give it a little wiggle once you line it up. It should go on okay. Now we've got this big guy here. And this one somebody has sprayed some WD-40 or some kind of silicone so that this will slide on a little easier. And there is some line-up notches towards the top as well. This fan is new to me, so I don't really know the history of it. Tighten this back up with my socket. Let's make it nice and snug. Because again, too, it's not going anywhere, but you want it to seal properly. And it's time to go to the driver's side. Now this side you don't have to take anything apart, but you have to stick your hand in down low. You should be able to get it around the side and undo or unscrew that one connector or socket. And again, I think it's backwards. So you turn it clockwise to unlock it or counterclockwise to lock it back in. And again, I've still got the bulb lit up so I can see where the hole is, and it makes it a little easier to see what you're doing. Trying to figure out too where those notches are supposed to go. It doesn't fit the easiest. It's almost too long. It wants to bang on something else there, but looks like I've locked it in. That one's working as well. Easy enough, huh? If you'd like some more videos on the Grand Caravan, top right hand corner, take a look at that. Thanks for joining me. I had a great time with you. Hopefully this was helpful. See you next time.